I will never forget that day. The day I walked into the doors of Sterling Dynamics, just like I did every morning, pushing my cleaning cart, my navy blue uniform crisp, my presence unnoticed. My name is Evelyn Carter. I'm 48 years old, and for 15 years, I was the worker no one saw. I moved through the shining hallways of that Chicago high-rise, where executives in expensive suits rushed past me without a glance. Their polished shoes echoed against the marble floors, their voices full of confidence, their eyes always looking past me. To them, I was invisible, until I wasn't. It started with spilled coffee and public humiliation. That morning, Nathan Sterling, CEO of the company, stormed into the lobby with his entourage, laughing loudly, that his voice dominating the space like he owned the world. Near the elevator, someone had knocked over a cup of coffee, probably one of his own people, too busy to care about the mess. I was already reaching for my mop when his voice cut through the air. "Hey, Grandma, clean this up," he smirked. His team laughed. For a moment, I just stood there, feeling the weight of their stares. My fingers tightened around the mop handle, but I kept my mouth shut. 15 years of swallowing my pride. 15 years of watching men like Nathan treat people like garbage. I wanted to say something. I wanted to fight back. But I did what I had always done. I lowered my head and cleaned. That night, as I moved through the empty offices, something inside me shifted. I had seen too much over the years. The way Nathan fired employees like they were disposable, boasting about cutting costs while padding his own bank account. I had caught glimpses of documents he didn't want anyone to see. Financial reports, torn up memos, emails left in the trash. I never said a word. I just kept cleaning. But I saw. I always saw. And that day, after being humiliated in front of everyone, I made a decision. He was going to pay. What Nathan didn't know was that I wasn't just a janitor. My grandfather had been a quiet but smart investor. When he passed away, he left me something no one at Sterling Dynamics knew about: company shares. Small at first, but they had grown over the years. I could have sold them. I could have left, but I stayed. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was justice. Or maybe I was just waiting for the right moment. That moment had finally arrived. That night, I called Tom, an old friend and a lawyer. "Tom, it's time." He hesitated on the other end. "How long have you been waiting for this?" "Long enough." We met at a small diner across the city, far from anyone who might recognize us. Over plates of greasy fries, I told him everything: the documents I had seen, the emails I had pulled from the trash, the way Nathan had turned the company into his personal playground, bleeding it dry while pretending to be a visionary. Tom listened in silence, his eyes sharp. When I was done, he exhaled. "Evelyn, do you realize what this means? It means we can take him down." Tom rubbed his face, thinking, "You're not just holding evidence. You're the majority shareholder. You have the power to end this." My heart pounded. I had never thought of it like that before. The following days, I went to work as usual, pushing my cart, keeping my head down, my phone buzzing with Tom's messages. Every night, I made my way to the copy room, printing out the proof: emails, financial statements, proof of illegal layoffs. One night, I overheard Nathan on a call. "If they don't like it, we'll cut more." Who cares? These people should be grateful they have a job. I smiled to myself. He had no idea what was coming. The days passed quickly. Every document, every email, every piece of evidence led me to one moment: the shareholders' meeting. The night before the meeting, I couldn't sleep. I sat in my small apartment, staring at the box full of documents Tom had organized. Inside it was every lie Nathan had told, every career he had ruined, every dollar he had stolen. I glanced at my uniform, draped over the chair. Tomorrow, I wouldn't need it anymore. I took a deep breath. This wasn't just for me. It was for every employee Nathan had disrespected, every assistant he had humiliated, every family that had suffered because of his greed. Tomorrow, everything would change. The next morning, I walked into Sterling Dynamics just as I had for 15 years. But this time, I wasn't just a janitor. I stepped into the boardroom, waiting. Nathan sat at the head of the table, laughing, gesturing, as if he was untouchable. Then my phone vibrated, a message from Tom. Now. I took a deep breath and pushed open the doors. Every head turned. Nathan frowned. What is she doing here? The board members exchanged confused looks. I walked forward, standing tall. I'm not just a janitor, Nathan. I'm the majority shareholder of this company. Silence. Nathan forced a laugh, shaking his head. That's funny. Now get back to work. But I didn't move. I placed my folder on the table and started speaking. I laid out the fake reports, the illegal layoffs, the emails where he called his own employees worthless. One by one, the board members' expressions changed. Murmurs spread through the room. Tom entered, documents in hand. We verified everything, he said, placing the files on the table. Nathan's face drained of color. This is ridiculous. I crossed my arms. You're fired, Nathan. Effective immediately. Then the room exploded. Yelling. Protests. Panic. But it didn't matter anymore. I had won. And for the first time in 15 years, I felt seen. Nathan stood frozen. His face turned red. His hands clenched into fists. For the first time, he was speechless. The boardroom erupted into chaos. Some executives whispered to each other, eyes darting between me and Tom. Others raised their voices, demanding answers. Nathan finally found his voice. You think you can just walk in here and take over? You're nothing but a janitor. I didn't flinch. A janitor who owns more of this company than you do. Tom slid more documents across the table. The votes are in. The shareholders agree. Nathan, you're out. His mouth opened and closed, searching for a response. But there was none. He had lost. Security was called in. Nathan slammed his hands on the table, his fury barely contained. This isn't over. You'll regret this. I didn't even blink as they escorted him out. His shouts echoed through the hallways, but I knew the truth. It was over. For him. That night, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. News had spread fast. Sterling CEO removed in shocking coup. Massive corporate scandal uncovered by former janitor turned shareholder. Social media exploded. Some people called me a hero. Others called it poetic justice. And then things got even worse for Nathan. Regulators saw my evidence. Investigations started. His accounts? Frozen. His assets? Seized. His reputation? Destroyed. By the next morning, it was all over the news. Reporters wanted interviews. Former employees messaged me, thanking me. One email stood out. It was from a journalist. One Nathan had fired years ago for requesting a sick day. You gave us our dignity back. Thank you. I read it twice, and then I cried. The next day, walking into Sterling Dynamics, everything felt different. For the first time, I wasn't wearing a uniform. Just jeans and a blouse. And people looked at me, not with pity, not with indifference, but with respect. In the break room, the cleaning crew gathered around me, cheering. Evelyn, you did it. One of them handed me a cup of coffee. I laughed. First time in years I had coffee in this place without having to clean up after someone else. Later, I sat in Nathan's old office. The same view, the same desk, but everything had changed. I wasn't invisible anymore. Not to them. Not to myself. The emails didn't stop. My inbox was flooded. A week later, I got a call from a news station. They wanted me on live television. The thought made my stomach turn. But I said yes. Sitting under the bright studio lights, I told my story. The mop, the shares, the downfall of Nathan Sterling. The host leaned forward. Why did you wait so long? I paused. Then I said, I needed proof and the right moment. The phones at the station blew up. People called in, some cheering, some crying, saying I gave them the courage to stand up in their own workplaces. When I left the studio, I felt lighter. I had spent 15 years being ignored. Now, my voice was louder than ever. Back at Sterling Dynamics, I started making small changes, changes that felt big. I put a suggestion box in the break room. The first note, more coffee. I laughed, ordered an extra machine. Then I met with the cleaning crew, asked them what they needed. Better hours, uniforms that didn't rip. Done. Miguel, one of the janitors, pulled me aside one day. My daughter saw you on TV. She wants to be like you when she grows up. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Tell her to be even better than me. That's when I realized this wasn't just about Nathan anymore. But Nathan didn't go quietly. A month later, I saw him on some low-budget radio show, ranting about how I had stolen his company. I didn't care. Then the host played a leaked security video, footage of Nathan the night he was fired, throwing a tantrum, trashing his office. I laughed so hard, I spilled my tea. The internet tore him apart. Memes flooded social media. His former allies distanced themselves. His empire collapsed. Karma had a funny way of working. Even after all that, he still tried one last move. One morning, Tom called me. Evelyn, Nathan just filed a lawsuit against you. Says you manipulated the stocks. I exhaled slowly. Let him try. The next day, his lawyer met me in the lobby, thinking he had the upper hand. I handed him my grandfather's notarized will, proving the shares had been legally mine for years. Tom stood beside me, arms crossed. The lawyer's face fell. An hour later, the news broke. Former CEO's lawsuit dismissed, deemed frivolous. Nathan had lost, again, and this time, for good. A year later, Sterling Dynamics is a different place. I'm still here, not in a uniform, but running things my way. The wages went up, the layoffs stopped, and people actually smiled in the hallways. On my desk, I keep that first note from the suggestion box. More coffee. A reminder of where I started. As for Nathan, the last I heard he was selling condos in some nowhere town. Broke, forgotten. And me? I'm not a hero. I'm just a former janitor who got tired of being invisible. If I can do it, so can you.